Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here.
What's up?
You might be thinking, what else is there to say? This is already my 12th video about part 1 of episode 79. But once again, Boom managed to surprise us, and there was no way I could ignore these absolutely legendary spoilers. No exaggeration. This one, for example, is honestly one of the best in the entire history of the series, on par with this one here, which used to be my favorite. Funny thing, in both of my favorite spoilers, the main character is Plunger Man. I think I might be in love with this guy. Forget I said that. That was a joke, guys. Never mind. Here we go. Let's start with some news. The episode's getting delayed for another week because of a newly added 1-minute scene. That means the final runtime will go over 6 minutes. I was hoping to see it by the end of May, but it might not drop until early June. The real question is, what kind of scene did Boom decide to add? If it was optional, he could have easily saved it for the next season, so clearly it's going to play an important role in the story. Now on to the spoilers. Just like we suspected, the Astros have invaded the camp.
And we have a new leaks from To Fuck Boom. When it was on when it was on May 24.
Men base. There's no doubt about it now. Like before, we see only 2 obliterators and no sign of the Duchess. That means she'll either show up a bit later or she's sneaking in from the back while all the defenders are focused on the front. But why would the Astros even attack an entire base with such a small squad? Is it even worth it? The mothership was the only one powerful enough to solo attack the TV men base from above, and really, no other Astro has that kind of destructive power. Even if the other Astros are busy dealing with the Speakermen Armada, we haven't seen the UFO, Mothership, or the Duchess among them. So if they were heading to the cameramen base, we'd expect the full team. But that's not what we're seeing. So I'm thinking once again, the Duchess and her 2 obliterators came here mainly for a one-sided negotiation. She might be offering the Skibidis and cameramen a deal, hand over their traitor G-toilet in exchange for their lives, and only if they refuse, she'll destroy the base. In the spoiler shot, we can see damage and a few bodies. Most likely, the obliterators just had a little fun or gave a warning strike to show the Astros aren't joking around. On the left, there's Berserk. In the center, Michael Jackson. And on the right, the most interesting one, looks like Mafioso. Based on the size of his leg and the fact that he couldn't even fit in the frame, he's probably the new semi-titan Mafioso Boom mentioned. But how is that possible, when just a couple of episodes ago, he was the size of a mutant? The simplest and most likely explanation is that his size didn't change. He's just piloting a giant mech now, like the scientist does. If you brighten the image, you can see he's holding an acid blaster similar to the one the scientist used during the Titan fight. Scientist does. If you brighten the image, you can see he's holding an acid blaster similar to the one the scientist used during the Titan fight. The radioactive hazard symbol is identical, but this new version seems to have ditched the big tanks that held the acid. It looks like it now uses a magazine-based system, where acid cartridges are stored in the grip of the gun. In the next spoiler, we get a look at the same base, but this time from the inside. Based on the red emergency lights flashing, it looks like the invasion is either just starting or already in full swing. The detective is handing some kind of device to the engineer. It doesn't look like the engineer gave it to him, since his body is turned the other way and his hands are down, like the detective interrupted him while he was busy with something else, which makes it even more curious. What is this device? The round white part looks like a button, almost like it's a remote control. No, it's definitely not the secret agent's master key. That one looks completely different. I rewatched every scene with the detective and couldn't find anything like it on him before, so this has to be something new. Considering the detective's whole thing is investigating, I'm guessing this device might let him bypass the secret agent's security and access Plungerman's memory. That way, they could figure out what really happened to him and his team at Alpha Hills, and how exactly the secret agent was involved. Between the speaker man and the detective, there's a white chair squeezed in. It might be Agentessa again, but whether she'll play a role in this episode, and what kind, still isn't clear. Behind the engineer, if you look closely, you can spot a TV man. The screen and that purple...
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Blade give it away, but something's off. You can see a speaker on the side, and it's not the kind the TV scientist used for speech reversal. It looks more like the ones the charged TV man had, though his speakers had little antennas, and this guy doesn't. Plus, he seems to be wearing something gray, not the scientist's white lab coat, and not the black suit the soldiers wear. Looks like we're dealing with a brand new TV man we haven't seen before. Maybe someone from the science or engineering team. The Skibidi scientist on the left is staring at a monitor, but whatever's on it doesn't tell us much. The last and most interesting detail in this spoiler is a set of 3 strange devices lined up in a row. Since we're on the cameraman base, you'd expect all energy here to be blue, but it's actually yellow-orange, just like the Skibidi toilets. This confirms my theory from the first spoiler breakdown, where I said that this device, which gives off similar energy, is located at the cameraman base and was likely developed with help from the Skibidis. All 3 devices are connected by cables, meaning the energy flows through them. And to where, if not to that device? These 3 units likely show its charge level. Once all 3 light up, the main unit will reach full power. I still think it's either a nuclear reactor powering the base or a nuclear bomb. Either way, the point is the same: to blow up the base, since the Astro have already found it. In the next spoiler, we see these same devices again. On the left, there's a similar set, though the first one in the row isn't visible, probably because it's already lit, and they're just mirrored to keep the room symmetrical. Behind the Plunger Man statue, you can also see a flashing red warning light. There's a crane moving a container with some kind of cargo. Most likely, just like G-Man once did, the cameramen are preparing to evacuate their equipment. Or it might just be background detail with no deeper meaning. Maybe the equipment is related to the device we mentioned earlier. Under the statue, we see a cameraman sitting, emotionally crushed. Ironically, this is the same statue we saw back in episode 9. You can tell by the identical damage on both sides. The statue itself was built in honor of Plungerman, meaning that after the failed attempt to revive him, the cameramen now believe he's dead. But let's not forget that Boom promised his return. It could happen in episode 80, or maybe it'll be a Titan speaker man or Titan camera now believe he's dead. But let's not forget that Boom promised his return. It could happen in
In absence, it will see a new strong counter or ever it come back of one. Oh, okay.
episode 80, or maybe it'll be a Titan speaker man or Titan cameraman instead. The final spoiler is the least informative. It just shows more red emergency lighting and a cameraman in a light blue shirt. So what's the takeaway? We'll likely see a new Skibidi semi-Titan, and the detective's investigation will continue. It's unclear whether these spoilers are part of the new 1-minute scene or were planned from the start. It would be strange not to show the cameraman's reaction from the inside. The episode will last about 6 to 8 minutes and is expected to drop at the end of May or early June. One major character will die. The base will likely self-destruct using either the cameraman's nuke end of May or early June. One major character will die. The base will likely self-destruct using either the cameraman's nuclear reactor or G-Man's new secret weapon, a nuclear bomb. We might also see a conversation between G-Man and the Duchess, revealing the reason for his betrayal and details about his past and his child. Honestly, I had a random thought.